Don't ever forget.
Don't ever forget that on November 4, 1922, after a 7-year search, the British archaeologist Howard Carter and his workmen discovered a step leading to the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt. When Carter first arrived in Egypt in 1891, most of the ancient Egyptian tombs had been discovered, though the little-known King Tutankhamun, who had died when he was 18 years old, was still unaccounted for. After World War I, Carter began an intensive search for King Tut's tomb, finally finding steps to the burial room hidden in the debris near the entrance of the nearby tomb of King Ramses VI in the Valley of the Kings. On November 26, 1922, Carter and fellow archaeologist Lloyd Carnarvon entered the tomb's interior chambers, finding them miraculously intact. Thus began a monumental excavation process in which Carter carefully explored the four-room tomb over several years. He opened the tomb and found an incredible collection of several thousand objects. Carter soon realized the enormous task that lay ahead in removing, recording, and preserving the thousands of objects that filled the four chambers of the tomb. He sought the assistance of the Metropolitan Museum of Art and its Theban expedition, which generously lent several staff members, including the photographer Harry Burton. He was trained in art photography in Florence, Italy. Over the next 10 years, Burton photographed many of the more than 5,000 objects found in Tut's tomb, both in situ and in his studio, on some 1,400 glass plate negatives. In addition to his work in black and white, Burton photographed many objects in color and made movies of the objects as they were removed from the tomb. His masterful use of natural and artificial light, as well as his experience and high standards, make the photographs not only valuable scientific records but also works of art. Burton remained in Egypt after the Metropolitan ceased excavating in 1935 and continued to record the monuments. He died there in 1940 and is buried in the American Cemetery in Asyut. The most splendid architectural find was a stone sarcophagus containing 3 coffins nested with each other. Inside the final coffin, which was made out of solid gold, was the mummy of the boy king Tutankhamun, preserved for more than 3,000 years. Most of these treasures are now housed in the Cairo Museum. Soon after the mummy was uncovered, archaeologists tried to pry his body from the sticky sacred oils that coated the inside of his coffin. But such rough handling damaged the mummy and made it tough to tell what led to Tut's death. Tutankhamun became pharaoh of Egypt in 1332 BC. At the age of 9, he ruled the country at a time of conflict when battles over land raged between Egypt and the neighboring kingdom of Nubia. Nearly a decade after coming to power, the young leader died at about 18 years old. But historians didn't know much about Tut until 1922. That's when Howard Carter uncovered King Tut's tomb. And don't you ever forget that. And don't ever forget to subscribe and like, and also press that notification bell.
Don't ever forget.